You're locked into the Liberty Flames podcast, powered by Rogers Heating and Cooling, servicing Greater Lynchburg's HVAC and electrical needs. Schedule your service today at callrogers.com.
The Liberty Flames mobile app is a must-have for game days. When you download the app, your access to Flames Nation is in the palm of your hand. Listen to our live Liberty Flames Sports Network audio broadcast. Click the Media tab, and under Audio, find the live broadcast in progress. Football, basketball, baseball, coaches shows, all right here. Purchase and manage tickets to the next Flames home game. Click the Tickets tab. Select Purchase Tickets. Then you have the ability to buy seats to the next game. Download those tickets directly to your device and scan them at the gate. Or select Manage Tickets to download your previously purchased tickets or parking pass. Transfer or sell your tickets easily through the Manage Tickets button. Download the Liberty Flames mobile app today from your App Store or Google Play.
Welcome to the NAZSCAR podcast with Nick Pierce. Don't worry, there's no lap, traffic, or caution flags here. Paul Nazigan and Tim Scarborough are here to bring you the latest on Liberty Flames basketball and mid-major hoops. Now, let's get to it. Here's Nick, Naz, and Scar.
What's up, Flames Nation? Welcome. It's another edition of the NAZSCAR podcast, talking Flames and mid-major hoops. I'm Nick Pierce. No snow cap this week, although the ice is still thick on the outside, warming you up here on the inside. Got my little fresh hot cider here. Trying to stay warm right now in this ridiculous cold. Tim Scarborough, Paul Nazigan alongside, and it's time to talk Flames hoops here on the NAZSCAR podcast, part of the Liberty Flames podcast family, powered by Rogers Heating and Cooling. Hope you are staying warm wherever you might be. What's up, fellas? Good to see you again.
Good to be here, man. Another week.
Another win.
The college basketball season is getting away from us. I mean, we are really zooming through this thing now.
Yeah, another week, another win. That what you said, Naz?
That's right. Another week, another win. Yeah, but right, Scar. Hard to believe we're into February already.
Yeah, man.
More than halfway through the Conference USA slate. Most conferences have kind of turned the back corner, if you will, the back nine, if you will. So yeah, we're gliding right along, just like the Flames are. 12 straight wins for Liberty, tied the second longest win streak in program history, approaching that milestone. And the Flames, for the first time ever, are 10-0 in conference play, 10-0 in CUSA with a comfortable 3.5 game lead here with 8 games to go in conference play. A couple games coming up here this week, but before we get into that, we'll look back to last week, recap the Middle Tennessee victory on the road. Impressive showing for this team. Kaden Metheny with a big night. We'll also have a NAZDAQ for you, a Scar Watch a little bit later on. A lot to get to here on the Liberty Flames podcast NAZSCAR here this week. So hit that follow button, subscribe if you're not already doing so. Hit the follow button and get our content downloaded directly to you each week here on NAZSCAR or wherever on the Liberty Flames podcast. We've got a lot of different shows, lots of content to bring you. Got baseball season around the corner here, softball season cranking up, women's basketball right in the thick of things as well with their conference schedule. The Liberty Women's Basketball Show each week with Jamie Hall. Lots of different shows coming your way. Hit that follow button, subscribe. You'll get them all downloaded directly to you without having to lift another finger. Well, it was a victorious road trip, and I had a lot of fun being a part of it. It's the first time I've actually gotten to call one of Liberty's games this year. I was on the road with them quite a bit last year. This year, I got to hop on the bird, fly out to Middle Tennessee, see the Glass House for the first time, do a game there, and an arena with a lot of history. If we have time, maybe we'll talk about that later, but victorious trip, and then made a trip to Krispy Kreme after that, by the way. A lot of folks may not know this. This is your behind the scenes info. All right. So it was a victory trip to Krispy Kreme, as dubbed by Kaden Metheny. I'd heard In-N-Out Burger got floated around. Kaden dropped 29 points. Kaden won at Krispy Kreme. That's where we went. So I got to ask you guys this, though. First of all, are you Krispy Kreme fans? Are you donut fans?
Oh, yeah.
My weakness.
Love a good donut.
So the hot light, you know about the hot light, right? The hot light is on. I did not know that when you get the fresh donuts, right, with the hot light on, I didn't know that the first one is free. I didn't know that. Yeah. Do you guys know that?
I did.
Did you have a lot of first ones?
Well, maybe. No.
I didn't know that.
No,
Yeah,
I did.
Apparently, I'm part of some secret society now. They may not be happy that I disclosed this information. But yeah. Bill Smith, the SID, and I, we went there when we first got to Tennessee, and the Krispy Kreme was like within sights of our hotel. We could look out our window and see it. So we walked over there before dinner, actually, because the hot light was still on. You don't want to risk it being off after dinner. And we got the free hot and ready donut. So there you go. But celebration, post-game trip to Krispy Kreme. And I mean, guys, the Flames right now, in all seriousness, I mean, this is a team that's just piling up victories right now. One of the longest winning streaks in the country actually coming in. And it all started with Kaden Metheny's performance last Thursday, 81-55.
The hot light was on for Kaden Metheny last week.
Sure. That's a good segue right there. The hot light was on for Kaden, right?
Perfect. I mean, he was 11 for 14 from the field, 6 of 9 from downtown. And you know what I like about it is he hit his first 6 threes, and he missed one. And you think, okay, the second half, let's see how many he can jack up. And I think he only took 2 the rest of the game. So, that shows you that nobody's hunting shots. They're just trying to get things within the framework of the offense. And Kaden got a ton of backdoor layups because of the three-point shooting that he was doing in the first half. People were flying at him, right at him. He would just cut behind them. And, of course, Zach Cleveland with the deliveries right at the doorstep, right? Layup after layup. So there were no answers for his hot shooting. And wow. I mean, if it's not him, it's Brett Decker. If it's not Brett Decker, it's J.J. Harper or Porter on a given night. It's one or two of those guys are going to get hot. And that's why this team is shooting so well from the field the whole year. 53% from the field as a group. That's hard to do.
Yeah, Scar, I thought the same thing, just to echo your point. Like, he came out and just throwing haymakers at them. They were rocked. So they get to halftime, and they're going, guys, we got to get out on them. We cannot let get out on shooters. And, then it was backdoor penetration, and it finishes, 44-26 of points in the paint. Like, just had them off balance in both halves. They just didn't know which way it was coming or going. And I guess, to make an earlier point, the build up to this game kind of makes it even more impressive. Like, this was going to be the kind of the big showdown game, right? Like, Liberty going on the road, only playing Middle once this year, and Middle was playing really well and was kind of hanging around in that second place grouping. And there was a lot of, let's see what they're made of kind of game. And they went down there and showed the conference good night. Like, it was kind of, to me, added another level of, oh my goodness, look out. Like, they just took them apart. And
message received too, I would think, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's got to be some people quaking in their boots right now when you think about how much further Liberty has pushed themselves from the rest of the crowd.
Yeah.
Flame shot 62% in that game. Kaden Metheny tied a career high with 29 points, 6 threes. That tied a season high for Kaden. His career high was 8. And then, I mean, not to be outdone, there were other guys that contributed. J.J. Harper was fantastic. Right. What's that?
Yeah, no, you're right, Nick. Yeah.
I mean, J.J. Harper's fantastic. 13 points. Zach Cleveland, 14 points, 9 assists for Cleveland. I mean, there were a lot of guys that contributed here, Naz.
Are we going to get Zach Cleveland's triple-double this year? I mean, what's the over and under that? He's flirting with it every night.
I know he hasn't
gotten it.
He keeps toying with us. He's not going to give it to us till the end. But maybe. Nick, great point. Like, the other guys came along. I think for JJ, that's 6 in a row or 6 out of 7 double digits for him. We've talked on the show about his confidence level and Porter, it was one of the nights where, hey, he didn't need to score. Other guys were scoring. I think another thing that jumped out just to make a point is, Middle Tennessee made that run in the second half and, as good teams will, and they cut it to 8. And I'm sitting at home, Nick, I don't know what your thoughts were there courtside, but I'm sitting at home going, oh, my goodness, like, this is a good team. They could come back And then Liberty just, I mean, those guys, doesn't phase them. And then they went on a 10-0 run and pushed it back out. Like, that showed some great poise and character and maturity, as we've said this team has. They showed it.
You know what you can do with Liberty is allow the game to be pretty. Meaning, Liberty doesn't force a lot of turnovers, but they don't turn over either. Only 5 turnovers. No, Nick McDevitt would be happy with his team only turn it over 11 times. That's a good day. But Liberty doesn't really force you to turn over. They play a very aesthetic game at both ends. Not a lot of fouling. I mean, Liberty did, get aggressive a little bit at key possessions, some big steals timely to get the transition going. But for the most part, the game was clean, and a clean game favors Liberty. High scoring, fluid,
not
offense,
a lot of fouling,
not a lot of fouls. Game is flowing. That's a Liberty game. You're not going to beat them playing that way.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, just an incredibly efficient attack. 44 points in the paint too. I mean, that's another thing to look at here. But we talk about the offensive effort. How about the defensive side? Because that can get overshadowed in a game like this, where you've got those kinds of offensive performances. But Liberty shut down Middle Tennessee. We talked about Middle Tennessee's defense from 3 coming into this game, being one of the best in the conference. Middle Tennessee was 0 for 9 from distance to start this game. Kamari Lands was a non-factor. Their leading scorer had 5 points in 21 minutes on the night. Scar, to coin a phrase from you, and I think I used it on the air, Liberty shut off their water.
Right at the main valve.
This defensive performance, I thought they made them earn everything it looked like out there, guys.
They did make them earn it. But again, this Liberty team is not the lockdown Liberty teams of what we've seen in the past. Liberty won that game at the offensive end and shut them. They did shut down the 3-point shooting, but some of that was bad 3-point shooting selection by Middle Tennessee. They were settling, and then they started driving the ball, but it was too late. They had already dug themselves too big of a hole. And then, the momentum, the psychological aspect, they just felt like they were getting punched in the face every time they turned around. And honestly, they were. I mean, they gave up 81 points. They couldn't stop Liberty. 62% from the field. You're not going to beat anybody with your defense playing that way if you're Middle Tennessee, no matter where that game is played. To shoot that well on the road, though, I mean, I just can't tell you how hard that is to come in to a town and get acclimated with those rims with a day notice or so, and then shoot that well in the game on national television. I mean, you can't be more impressed with that performance.
Yeah, and add that to, like, Middle had 12 offensive rebounds to our none, and so 0. It's like
there weren't a lot of misses though.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, they're 12 to give a team of that caliber more possessions, like. And then to win in that fashion, like, and shoot so well, it's like it didn't even matter that they gave up those second chances, opportunities, and points. It's just incredible.
Yeah, for sure. And you look at it now, the Flames 3.5 game lead over Sam Houston. That's surging right now. They've won 6 straight. Missouri State now 7-4, tied for second place with Sam Houston, and that's the team that Liberty's going to see here this week. Missouri State coming to Lynchburg. Here's a question, though, before we kind of get into what's next. How was Kaden Metheny not Conference USA Player of the Week? 29 points, ties a career high. Nothing against Elijah Jones for UTEP. He had career high 25, but in a loss. I mean, I guess he played one game. I don't know.
The same people that didn't vote Bill Belichick into the Hall of Fame, they voted on the week Conference USA this week.
Yeah, or the football committee.
Who knows how these things happen? But, yeah, I mean, how do you not? That's Player of the Week. And honestly, Metheny is a candidate for first-team All-Conference. So is Brett Decker. So is Zach Cleveland.
Right.
Honestly, I would throw Colin Porter in that mix too. But, I mean, I think Liberty might get 3 guys on the first team this year. I really believe that, especially with Metheny shooting ball. When you think about this, Brett Decker is the top 3-point shooter, top 3 in the nation. In conference, Metheny is hitting more 3-pointers than he has. So, I mean, how are you going to keep those guys off the first team? That's what I want to know.
I mean, Metheny coming into that game last week was third among all active players in Division I basketball for made threes. I mean, that kind of tells you this.
Oh, you're talking career.
Yeah, career.
Yeah. Who did I compare him to? You remember last week? Fletcher McGee, the all-time three-point shooter career at Wofford. And because, the way both those guys can get hot, and then it really doesn't matter what the defense is doing because they're shooting from 26, 28, 30 off the dribble, one-handed, turning it backwards. And when they let it go, it's going in. He had some Fletcher McGee qualities with that three-point shooting the other night. But I will say this. He's also playing in his 151st career game. You can't tell me that doesn't do something to you. You know what I mean? Like being older is a huge benefit for Kaden Metheny and all these teams that have older players. I mean, that is a tough advantage to overcome sometimes.
Well, you look at Elijah Jones. He's the player of the week for UTEP here this week in Conference USA. Jacoby Hill, Jacksonville State, the freshman of the week. Jack State going 1-1 last week. Just kind of looking around the league, looking at Middle Tennessee, they were 8-1 at home before Liberty went in there and dismantled them last Thursday. They turned around, they lost again. Western Kentucky got them on Saturday, and that's now back-to-back home losses for Middle Tennessee. All of a sudden, they're 5-5 in the conference. They've come back to the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, is that a result of the shellacking that Liberty put on them? I don't know. Like, that might have been some leftover, hangover from Liberty kind of going in there and just rocking them. But yeah, they got to right the ship. And Nick, I think you mentioned earlier, Sam Houston's, really surging. It was kind of right after Liberty beat them. They kind of got things fixed and have been pretty solid ever since.
Liberty net up to 74 now. That is best in Conference USA. And next up, you got a trip to Delaware coming up here this Wednesday. The Blue Hens had a really bad January. They did get a nice road win over New Mexico State the other week, 73-64. Lost by 15 at UTEP on the back end of that trip. Liberty and Delaware just saw each other about a week and a half ago when Delaware came to Lynchburg. Flames got them that day 67-51. And Naz, that was a game that kind of got off to a slow shooting start for the Flames, but kind of took control later on. Delaware dealing with some injuries. What's kind of the scout here coming up this second time around? I wouldn't imagine it changes too much. And is there an advantage for one team or the other seeing each other again so quickly?
I don't know about that. Liberty's just playing so well, so I don't think it matters who. Like, they just want to get to the floor. I'll tell you this, though. Delaware, you got to really give it to them. Like, their starting five is and they got their best player out, hurt. But, I mean, the guys that they're putting on the floor is a good group, and they're playing really well. Christian Bliss, their point guard, is a great player, just does it all. The big kid, Hauser. There's two brothers, the Emery brothers, but Macon Emery. So you look at their stats and what they're doing against other people. They're solid. It's just they run out of gas. I mean, you can't play at this level night after night on these road trips without some guys coming off the bench. And these guys are all playing over 35 minutes a game, and they're battling. So, they did manage to get a win. The other game they were playing, I forget who it was, but they're right there to the end, and the guys they're just run out of gas. So, you go into their house, they're just looking for any kind of glimmer of hope. They did play Liberty really well in that first half. They play that zone, and so we'll see what they do. But it's just you can't take them lightly. Don't worry about their record. They've got a decent group, and if they see a chance to maybe get another victory, you don't want to give them any kind of hope.
Yeah, I think the thing that Liberty has to guard against is taking them for granted, and that's something that Liberty really never does. When you think about those non-Division ones that come into Lynchburg and get beat by 300 points, and it would be easy to say, "Hey, man, they didn't let up. They put the hammer on them like they should." Right? I think it's going to be the same in Delaware. Delaware is good enough to beat you. Anybody is on a given night in college basketball. Right? They can come out and knock down some shots. All of a sudden, your 3-pointers aren't falling, and you find yourself in a battle that you weren't expecting, and then psychologically, you never recover. And sometimes you survive those games, but sometimes you don't. But I don't anticipate it being that, with Delaware being dinged up a little bit, and Liberty just, I'm sure at this point, they're not. They say they're not thinking about the undefeated season, but they certainly don't want to let the last place team in Conference USA ruin the undefeated season. If someone's going to beat them, if someone's got to earn it, you can't give it to them. And if Delaware beats Liberty this week, Liberty will have given it to them.
Well, that's what's next on the docket. That one's on the road Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Then you got Missouri State coming to town on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock at Liberty Arena in Lynchburg, a place where the Flames have not lost a game yet this year. And Scar, you've seen Missouri State in person. They played at Kennesaw State earlier this year, lost 90-80. Keith Pallick, a nice player. He's third leading scorer in Conference USA. You actually kind of highlighted this game earlier this year. Conzo Martin's group coming to Lynchburg as a game to kind of watch out for. You still feel that way, Scar?
Yeah, I do. They're in second place, tied for second, 7-4 overall. They have a unicorn of their own, and Michael Osibansu, and he's 6'4", but he's a power forward /5. They'll isolate with him, but then he'll just power dribble and get himself to the basket. And he's so big and strong, people just get out of his way a lot of times instead of taking the charge. Very Charles Barkley-like in terms of the way Barkley used to play at Auburn. He's 6'4", 6'5", really wide body, and can jump out of the gym. That's what they have in him. And, with those three top scorers, you add Kobe Williams to that. They are formidable when they're playing well. So they are capable of beating Liberty, I think. But we'll find out this week.
And they played well lately, too. I mean, they've won 3 out of 4, a couple road wins at New Mexico State and UTEP. They did lose at home to Sam Houston, but I told you Sam Houston's playing as good as anyone outside of Liberty in the league right now. Beat Jacksonville State 74-67, and Missouri State doesn't have a game this week like Liberty does. Liberty plays on Wednesday. Missouri State doesn't have anything going on until its trip to Lynchburg on Saturday, so they've got a little bit of extra time to scout.
Prep time.
That's something else to keep an eye on as well. But that's what's coming up here for the Flames this week. When you look at the rest of Conference USA, just a couple of other notes, tidbits, I guess, if you will. Tegan Moore has been missing time for Western Kentucky, out with, I think it was concussion symptoms I heard the other day. Armello Boone missed a game for them, but although he came back in that win over Middle Tennessee, Western Kentucky right now 5-6 in the league, just trying to keep their footing. I really feel like, just look at up and down here, get you guys' take on it real quick. Kennesaw State, a couple of wins last week. I really feel like after Liberty, that 2 through 10 spot in the league is there's not a whole lot of separation between these teams. What do you guys think?
No, I don't think Western's very good. They're 5-6, but we've watched them play. And maybe I'm comparing them to prior Western teams. I don't think UTEP is very good, but now I do think Middle is better than a 5-5 team. That's surprising me that they're 5-5. I think La Tech is better than a 5-5 team. Kennesaw, despite the situation with Simeon Cottle, they're a team that is kind of rallying together right now.
Right.
And they're playing with a lot of energy and focus, and they do have other guys that can score. They always have. But as Naz talked about a few weeks ago, people tended to watch Simeon play. And now with him not being in that lineup, they're still playing that Antoine Petway, throw it up on the glass, and everybody trying to go get it. That energy, trying to get out in transition, getting deflections on defense. They're a dangerous team to me. Jackson State, probably even a little bit more talented than Kennesaw State. To me, it's a 5-team race. I got to take La Tech, Middle Tennessee out of it, even though I think they're better than their 500 records. But really, Kennesaw, Jackson State, Missouri State, and obviously Sam Houston has bubbled up as the second hottest team in the conference. So you got to count them as well.
Yeah, and everybody is in striking distance with the exception of Liberty. So,
right.
Liberty with that cushion. Everyone else, and again, Sam Houston and Missouri State are maybe a notch ahead, but I really believe everybody else, going into these last grouping of games, they're just going to be a big jumble. I don't know who's got to figure out the tie-breaking scenarios, but you just feel like there could be a lot of people just, right in there. And again, I think everybody's thinking the same thing. The record doesn't matter now. You got this whole big mass of people. You're just gonna be let's get ourselves playing good ball this month of February and rolling
ball and getting healthy.
Yep,
and it's like getting some momentum.
Because no matter what your number is, that first round game is going to be winnable or losable. So that's probably some consolation to the people that, hey, guys, let's just right the ship, stay together, don't splinter, don't point fingers at each other, and just get yourselves right. And so this month of February is going to be really interesting in the conference.
No, what interests me is Sam Houston. They're doing it with the scoring off their bench. I mean, Jacob Walker led them off the bench, 16 points last week against Missouri State, 20 against La Tech. Then they got Jacob Coleman and Matt Dan as well coming off the bench. I mean, they've got a little bit of depth.
That's been the difference, Nick. You're exactly right. That's been the difference because, Po Boy and Illich and
Boy King.
Yeah, and Cashy Nat, like those guys have been solid, but they weren't getting the help. But now that they're getting the bench help, that's really rounded out that team, and they're playing hot. They're the hottest team right now, barring Liberty.
Yeah, for sure. So be interesting here over the last half of the conference season how it all plays out. But Delaware and Missouri State, that's what's next here for the Flames. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock on the road at Delaware, and then Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock, Liberty at home against Missouri State. All right, let's get into some of our segments this week. How about let's go Scar Watch first. Scar, what do you got for us this week?
He's looking at you, kid.
Mama, there goes that man.
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man.
Here's this week's Scar Watch.
All right, so my Scar Watch this week is all about the NCAA Tournament Committee. So we won't know how they're thinking until they reveal. But if past is prologue, we think there's going to be some snubs. Let's talk about Miami, University in Ohio. They are the Red Hawks. They are 22-0. Their net is a 53. And I don't think that's good enough to get an at-large bid at this point. And they don't have any quad one wins, because no quad ones will play them. So that's really not their fault. But when you watch them play, watch the way that team is comprised, they're very good. 5 starters in double figures, play defense like their hair is on fire. That's a tournament team if you're just giving them the eye test. I look at St. Louis at 21-1 in the Atlantic 10. Well, the Atlantic 10 has almost been a one-bid league. They're almost down to that. Usually VCU will bubble up at the end and maybe get a at-large, or Dayton. But no non-Dayton VCU team is getting at-large bids at this point. So if St. Louis were to get upended, does the committee put them in? So you start thinking about these things. And then on the other end of that spectrum, last year the SEC got 14 of their 16 teams in the conference, in the NCAA tournament. That's a joke to me. And this year the ACC is getting 10 for what they're projected, and they're probably going to get the most after only getting 4 last year. So there's a lot of things I'm looking at, a lot of groundwork being laid in terms of narrative. When you listen to announcers and you listen to Joe Lenardi and some of these other people, when they, bracketologists that are already plugging in where people go. And once again, for me as a mid-major advocate and a person that covers mid-major, coached mid-major, I'm going to continue to advocate for them. But that NCAA committee, I need you to get some of this right. Some of it's going to take care of itself when the St. Louis's and the Stephen F. Austins, who are 19-3 on their own right, when they win their conference, they'll bail out the committee. But I'm watching you, committee, and I don't want to see you give us 15 power conference teams, 7 of which have a losing record in their own conference. We don't need that.
Yeah. When you were talking about Miami of Ohio, and you made a lot of good points there, this has nothing to do with any of them, but I did want to share this. Miami of Ohio, I heard this stat the other day, one of 5 schools in the country that has produced a Super Bowl winning quarterback and a U.S. president. You know that?
I know Ben Roethlisberger was the quarterback. Who was the president?
Benjamin Harrison, 23rd president.
And two guys named Ben.
Yeah, two guys named Ben. And that's the other funny part of it. So one of the other schools is Delaware from Conference USA.
Well, how about that?
Joe Biden,
yeah.
and Joe Flacco.
Oh, yeah. Wow, two Joes.
Two Joes, two Bens. Michigan, Gerald Ford and Tom Brady. Stanford, Herbert Hoover and John Elway. Navy, Jimmy Carter and Roger Staubach. And if the Patriots win the Super Bowl on Sunday, then North Carolina would join that group as the sixth school to produce a Super Bowl winning quarterback and a U.S. president. Drake May would be the quarterback. James A. Polk would be the U.S. president. So there you
Nick,
go.
I don't know what made you think of that and look that up. That's pretty incredible. I don't know.
Well, we were talking about Miami of Ohio, and that was one of the schools. So that's what triggered my...
That is unique. That's pretty cool.
So not to completely derail Scar's thoughts, because there were a lot of good ones in there, but it did make me think of that. Let's get to the NAZDAQ report this week.
This is the NAZDAQ report. Close your portfolio. It's not that kind of report. Naz is here with which team's stock is soaring.
Show me the money!
And which one is falling. Once again, Paul Nazigan.
All right, well, the NAZDAQ, one of those schools that is hoping to not have to leave their fate in the committee's hands, but a good mid-major that kind of caught my eye this week is Charlotte, the Charlotte 49ers. Really interesting, and what caught my eye was one of their players, but kind of having an average year, and then all of a sudden they hit conference and they play in the American, which is really tough, and they're on top. Them and Tulsa are up at the top of that conference right now, which was a little surprising, but they just, a light switch went on when they hit conference play. They're 7-2, and you guys know that's the conference. Wichita State's in there, FAU, Memphis, UAB. That is a really difficult conference, and they got it rolling them. So what caught my eye was they got a center, big 7'2" kid. His name's Anton Bonk. And he's from, I had to look this is a country called Vanuatu. And it's, we'll do a little geography here because we like to educate our fans as well. For basketball.
We've had history. Now let's get
we've
geography.
had history. Nick with a little political science there with the presidents. But yeah, so it's a country in Oceania, which is off the coast of Australia, an archipelago nation. But this 7'2" kid is really kind of cool because he's a true center. Like in this game of five out and positionless basketball, this kid is a true, like, he's back to basket, great footwork, little drop step hook shots, and he can attack the rim as well. So he's fun to watch. And the 49ers, I hope they have had some down years, so it's nice to kind of see them making a run.
Flights to what did you call this place?
Vanuatu.
Flights to Vanuatu starting at $3,200.
Well,
I learned something
NIL
new.
money.
I like that. I like talk basketball, and I learned about a new country.
Yeah, I feel bad that I didn't bring a fun fact to the game. You guys didn't tell me about this. I need to come up with something odd next time, right?
You got some Bill Nye Science Guy stuff over there. We cover almost all the different classes.
You guys are educating us today.
Bring a bottle rocket to the show next week.
An experiment, yeah. or you can always go with the volcano.
That's right, the classic volcano.
Every science fair.
Vanuatu is apparently a volcanic island. I didn't know that.
Here we go.
See,
Naz, I didn't hear anything else you said after you said Vanuatu. I started looking this place up.
I know it was really it was kind of cool, but again, it kind of makes that. It just goes to show the international pull of basketball. If you're a player, no matter where you're from, you're going to find you. And
we can buy him pretty low right now because his stock is going up. But you better get in now because his ceiling is pretty high.
Yeah, he's a guy that, certainly he's got the size. He's one of these guys that kind of came out of nowhere, almost like, Vlad Golden a couple years ago. All of a sudden, he's becomes a household name. So this kid certainly has the size and seems like good footwork. You never know what his ceiling could be.
And we'll see him play in the SEC next year.
That's probably right.
49ers are the best team in the city of Charlotte. That's what I took out of that. Naz, great stuff. Hey, we spit facts and historical and geographical information. Great stuff. Good show, guys. Appreciate it. That will just about wrap things up here. Again, the Flames on the road this week. 7 o'clock Wednesday night at Delaware. Liberty back at home in the arena on Saturday, 2 o'clock against Missouri State. Come on out and join us. That's actually a red out game. So if you're coming out, we're all red, red shirt, red pants, red belts, red shoes, whatever you got. All red out game. They're giving away rally towels. I think first 4,000 fans get those on Saturday. And
now the question is, Nick, where are you going to be? Because like 1 week, you're Carolina Panthers, then you're down in Middle Tennessee.
Last night I look Sunday. I promise you that.
I look across the arena last night. Nick's over there on the PA. He's everywhere.
Yeah. Jack of all trades.
What is it? I'm like, what is it? Visa or what? I'm everywhere you want to be.
That's NAZSCAR.
Right. What's NAZSCAR? There you go. Yeah. Almost had it right. Yeah, I'll be around. I'll be around. Drop in when you least expect it, like Batman. All right, for Naz, for Scar, I'm Nick Pierce. This has been the NAZSCAR podcast presented by Rogers Heating and Cooling. Schedule your service at callrogers.com and hit that follow button, subscribe to the Liberty Flames podcast channel, get our shows downloaded directly to you each week, wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks so much for stopping by. Till next time, so long, everybody.